Monday. It is the 14th of December. Oh boy, it is Monday, all right. And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
How was your weekend?
It was wonderful.
It was so warm.
It was so warm. It is so weird.
I know.
It's lovely, though.
Well, according to a well-known television meteorologist in the Raleigh area, having temperatures this time of year in the 70s for a couple of days is not that unusual. It happens. It happens. But now, if we had a week or two or three of 70 degrees, that would be a bit unusual. So we just enjoy it.
It's nice. It's just, we've gone from cold to a little bit warmer, and I know it's going to cool back down. What do you think it's going to mean for our winter? Mild winter? Crazy winter?
Somebody has told me that it will react to the opposite, and will be. I'm told it would be it's going to be a very wild winter. It's going to be very cold. This was a person who has no training as a meteorologist.
Oh.
So they were guessing. They have no idea. All I know is, in the middle of winter, when you see the cows lying on the ground, that means it's going to snow.
That's right.
That's what my mother always said anyway,
That's right. Well, it will be what it will be, and we hope that it is as mild for everyone as possible. I think everybody wants to see snow in the wintertime.
Sure.
The one thing that scares me is the ice that can come with snow.
Which is what we have more than anything else here.
That's right. That's right. So we just hope it's a nice calm season. Calm.
Yeah. Jingle in the Park was this past
wonderful.
Weekend. Wow, what a great weekend for Jingle in the Park.
It was a great weekend, and a huge shout out to Parks and Rec, who are working all over this community to bring new exciting things. And one of the things was ice skating. There is ice skating. Do you remember at the parade? Did you see they were in Cornerstone Commons with ice skating set up? And Jingle in the Park. It was just a great weekend.
Yeah,
great weekend.
It was a great weekend. Yeah, and I reflect back to the parade of last week or whatever, 9 or 10 days ago. I'm still having good times thinking about that. It was fantastic. What a great crowd!
Record crowd, record entries. It was quite magical. It really was something special. We
videotaped from the cars, from our car, the Wayne Goldsboro Television car, in which you and I were riding, as well as Pat and Bria. And I'm looking at these tapes of these people along the sides of the streets, and it was just what a good time everybody had.
Shoulder to shoulder,
yeah.
it was packed.
It was packed.
Poor Bria and Pat had to hear my screaming voice. What was I saying over and over? Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! And then about halfway through, I'm like, do y'all edit that out? If not, I'm sorry.
No, it was great.
Great day. So thank you to all the entries. There were 155 applications. Laura Landers at the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce and the staff there did a wonderful job orchestrating it, and couldn't have done it without the help of the fine people with the City of Goldsboro.
I know.
All the entries, everybody was just wonderful to work with, and lots of volunteers. So it was just a great day. Josh McCullen and Stuart Bryan they've kind of become like the masters of the Christmas parade, and you get them involved, and they work with Laura and make it happen. And she had 18 volunteers from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base.
Wow.
It was great.
Wow.
It was great. So wonderful day. Thank you.
On to Christmas and on to New Year's.
Whoa!
Woo! All right. Well, speaking of New Year's, we got a brand new year coming up, 2016, and I happen to have here some of the trends. Trends are very trendy now.
They are.
Trends are trendy because everybody wants to know, well, what's the latest trend? Well, I have a couple of them for you here. 4 out of 5 people now experience an effect where the benefits gained from online services increases as more people use them. In other words, as more people use them, the bigger and the better they become.
Sure.
Globally, 1 out of 3 consumers, 1 out of 3 people already participate in various forms of the sharing economy. 1 out of 3, which is an amazing number considering that the internet, frankly, has not been around that long when you think about it. I mean, it's been around for as long as many people have been alive, but in the big scheme of things, and you look at the early 80s, that's kind of when it kind of kicked off, and that was, in the scheme of things, that was not that long ago.
No.
Here's the second one here. Teenagers watch more YouTube video daily than any other age group. Teenagers. 46% 46%, nearly half of all teenagers between 16 and 19 years of age spend an hour or more on YouTube every day.
And there is so much stuff on
Yeah.
YouTube.
And
I'll just leave it as
yeah.
stuff. There's some great stuff and there's some not so great
There's some
stuff.
junk, yeah, but there's some junk. But there's, yeah, a lot of it's great. But I remember when YouTube started.
Yeah.
And I mean, anyway, I won't go there.
Millions upon millions of videos now.
Yeah. And if you know what AI is, that's artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will enable interaction with objects without the need for a smartphone screen. 1 in 2 smartphone users, half 1 in 2, 1 out of 2, that's half of them. Duh. Who writes this stuff? Users of smartphones think smartphones will be a thing of the past within the next 5 years. So
No,
that's what 1 out of 2
Yeah.
feel.
What do you think? You think it's a possibility. I don't. There we go.
I do. I think smartphones in 5 years, twice, 5 years, will be a thing of the past, or will be on their way out. I really do.
No.
Yeah.
Bria's with me. She's over there.
Yeah?
I'm seeing her head shaking. You are
Let's see.
outnumbered,
All right,
my friend.
all right, 2021. Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
2021. 22, 23, 24. 2021, you will have seen by then the diminishing smartphones.
Oh, no
But
way
no,
now.
it'll only get better.
Yeah, I think it will
It will only
continue to
get better.
evolve.
Yeah, sure. Things will only get better.
Yes.
Yes, and finally, and I have several here, but the next trend is virtual gets real. Consumers want virtual technology for everyday activities such as watching sports and making video calls. 40%, 44%, nearly half even want to print their own food.
I'm sorry, what?
They want to print their own food. They want to print their own food?
No.
Well, no, I can almost understand that because once in a while I have a nice slice of newspaper. Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway, who knows where that's going to go? Anyway, that's a trend, but that's what is one of the latest trends. They think that's what's going to happen. Imagine not just watching a football game on your little tiny screen, but actually being able to watch a football game and place yourself anywhere in the stadium.
That's wild.
And not even be there.
That's wild.
Huh? That's
That's
coming.
wild.
That is coming.
That's wild.
That's coming. Or at a NASCAR race. Put yourself in the pits. Put yourself in the press box. Put yourself in the.
Not the same thing. What does that do for our economy, though? Huh. I don't
Well,
like
it's
it.
going to make some people very rich.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Ripple
we got to go to our
effect.
next
Yeah,
segment.
yeah.
Okay, we'll be
Yeah.
We'll be back.
I'm giving you a handout to go by on this. I just want to say I agree with everything Bill said. This really has been a broad-based effort, and we've had great cooperation from both the college and the city. I think working out the agreement with the city was a huge step forward, and at one point we thought we might need a little more land on this. I went to Kay Albertson very quietly and said if we needed a few more acres, would y'all be amenable to that? And the next thing I knew, she said, I've been to my board and you can have up to 6 acres. Now, as it turns out, we don't need it, but it's that level of cooperation that we've had on this project. And as y'all know, this project fronts the property in the back is all future for the college. And so one of the things we've tried to do is preserve that land as much as possible, to the point that we're putting the regional detention pond back behind that near the creek, so that we preserve more of that community college property for development. Let me go over this very quickly, and I just want to say these are projected revenues, so some of these are not 100% in the bag yet, but this is our estimation of where we're going to get to. We feel pretty good about virtually all of them. $4 million, we've appropriated that into a capital projects ordinance. We've done that over a 2-year period. As we've gotten our last 2 audits, we underspent the budget, and so the board agreed to move money into that capital projects ordinance and set it aside for this project. So we have $4 million in the bank on this. We also have $955,000, which is the Eastern Region Loan Pool. This is money that we got that we're paying back over 5 years. It's for economic development, and so we've put a good amount of that into this. That loan is almost paid off, so that's money in the bank as well. Then, as Jimmy alluded to, we're hopeful we'll get about $1.5 million from North Carolina General Assembly. Then, as everybody's read about, because this thing went on for about, I guess, 6 months, we finally got the 1% room occupancy tax. The board levied it in October, and it went into effect December 1. There's a lag time on that when the hotel operators for December, when they get their receipts, they have 20 days to turn that in to us. So our first money coming in on this new room occupancy tax will be in January, and we'll move forward with that. But our plan is, we think we can service at least $2 million worth of debt with that money and still have some left over. So we'll borrow the $2 million, but the room occupancy tax has that covered. Then this is a great project. I give Bill a tremendous amount of credit on this. He found out about this program, the Red Leg program, and I can't say enough for Tri-County EMC. This USDA money comes through them, and their board has to approve it, and they've been tremendous to work with. They've done everything they could to help us on that. We have been working with them. We put all of the applications in. I think the last one went in about 2 weeks ago. So we feel very good about that. We'll know about it. I believe it's February is when a decision will be made. But we feel very good about that. So that's the $2 million. That's a 10-year, 0% interest loan, which is a pretty hard rate to beat. And again, it comes through Tri-County. And then there's a $600,000 10-year 0% USDA loan. The reason we broke those out, just so you know, that the second one, the $600,000, once we're paying that off, Tri-County gets to keep that as a loan pool. So they'll actually be able to loan that out for other types of projects in the community, and not just to a local government. I think it can go to, anybody they choose. The fundraising campaign that Tony's going to talk with you about, our estimation there is we'll be able to raise roughly $2 million on that. And I know that many of you are involved in that campaign, and we appreciate that. The federal budget appropriation, we had to wait until we got everything in place. But we have 2 of our commissioners now are working on trying to get some money there. I don't have a dollar figure in there. Whatever that comes in will reduce what the county has to come up with. But we don't have any kind of reasonably firm estimation on that right now. Then we have about $1.3 million in a county capital reserve funds that we're going to put towards this. And then the difference is the $4.7 million. That's what the county will borrow. And we call them COPs. They're certificates of participation. It's very similar to a 20-year bond, and so it has all the characteristics of a bond. It's just handled a little bit differently. And our estimation there is at 3.6% interest. The reason we use that figure is when we issued $38.5 million for schools about a year and a half ago, we got those for 3.34%. So we feel like 3.6, we should be able to bring it in at that. So with that, that's the $19,055,000. You can read the footnotes there. I think I went over all of them. The next page, and this is the latest estimation from Kristen and her group at HH Architecture. you'll see that the center, and she's calling it Ag Center, it's the Ag Center and Convention Center, is $13,023,000, and she shows you the breakdown there, and then she has site development for another $2.855 million. So the total is at $15,879, and that's about where we're hoping it'll come in at that. Now, they typically throw in a 3% contingency, and you can see that's another $500,000. So we're hopeful we won't have to spend that. And typically we would not spend that, but we're putting it into the mix on the front end because I want to be sure we've got it covered. Then there are soft costs, and what these are, the big number there is the architect's fee. And then there were several things we asked for additional services from them, and those are listed. Then the other estimated soft cost you'll see down at the bottom, we have over $1 million worth of furniture, fixtures, equipment, and then audio visual equipment and things like that for the center. And with that, that's another roughly $2.7 million. So that's where we get up to $19 million on this. But not all of it is construction. Quite a bit of it is equipment and furnishings. I think the other big number in there is no, I'm sorry, that was in the building. That was on the kitchen. So that's basically how we plan on paying for it. Any of these revenue sources that we're hopeful on that don't come in, of course, the county would have to borrow additional money to do that. But we're also confident that we can do this without needing any tax increase. Our revenues do grow some every year. And so with that, we're confident we'll be able to take on this debt load and be okay on it. Does anybody have any questions? I know I went through that kind of fast, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. The board also the board voted to enter into an agreement with the architect to go to 100% design. I think y'all know we had been at 35% design because we weren't sure when we started with the architect if we were going to use design build, and you can go up to 35% design and then switch to design build, or you can go the traditional method of bidding the project out. The board has decided that they didn't want to go design build. What they wanted to do, we had a very good working relationship with Kristen and her group. We've had a number of people who were on the design team are in this room, and I think they'd all agree we've had a very good working relationship. So they've authorized me to negotiate with them. We finished that. That'll be on the agenda Tuesday for the board to approve, and then she'll go forward with that. The second part, which was Julian's question, is the board also voted to go construction manager at risk on building this. And the way that differs from the traditional method is the architect would do all the design work, contract documents, everything would be out there, and then we would bid it out to prime general contractors. And then they would bid on it. We'd take the lowest bid, and we may pre-qualify the bidders, but we take the lowest bid and they build it. With construction manager at risk, you don't have a prime contractor, but you go out, the board uses criteria to evaluate firms, and these are general construction firms. These are prime contractors that would submit requests for qualifications to us. And we'll put in that RFQ the criteria we're looking for, and obviously we want people who have a lot of experience in construction. We want them to have built buildings of comparable complexity and size, things like that. And then we'll review their references, go look at some of their projects, see the quality of their work and that sort of thing. So then the board would come back at that point and vote to negotiate a contract with that construction manager at risk firm. And then at that point, the county attorney and I, and probably one of the board members, probably the chair, will sit down, negotiate that contract. And once we have that, then that construction manager at risk begins working with Kristen and her group, doing value engineering, making sure the scheduling works, and hopefully they come up with some methods of or differences in materials that will save us money. and get the same quality product. So one component of their fee is that they're to do this, what we call pre-construction work, which is in the design phase and value engineering. The second part is they basically function like the general contractor in that they coordinate all the work of all the subcontractors. One important difference is that the subcontractors, he does the bidding out of all that work. And those contracts are actually with him, not with the county. The contract for constructing is between him and the county, but all the subcontractors are hired by him. Now, to protect the county's interests, state law requires that every one of those subcontracts be a sealed bid. And so, and they all have to be pre-qualified. So we know we're getting good subcontractors and we've gotten the best possible price. So, did I cover it for you, Julie?
I think so. Since we're not having a general contractor, the architectural firm is going to more or less oversee. Is that correct?
Well, actually, the construction manager at risk takes the place of the general contractor. That's why by law he has to be a general contractor. So he will oversee all of his subs. But when we're dealing with him, we're only going to deal with him. We have hired, in the contract we're getting ready to do on Tuesday, we have hired HH Architecture, which is Kristen's firm, to do contract administration, and included in that is some inspection. Now, this is a big enough project, just like with the jail. On the jail, I don't know if you're aware of it, but we have a contract with Mosley Architects to do some inspection and all of the contract admin, like the pay request, any change order reviews, things like that. But in addition to that, our facilities manager, Kendall Lee, is a licensed general contractor. We have him and some of his people on that job site every day, checking it out. But we've made it crystal clear, he can't tell a contractor or subcontractor to change something. He has to go through Mosley, because Mosley is our agent on the job. And I don't want any confusion about who's in charge of that site. The contractor is to go through the architect. And we're going to have the same relationship with Kristen and her group. So we're trying to put the maximum amount of inspection, but most of it will be in-house. But this is a big enough project. We want to make 100% sure this thing goes up right. Okay. Anything else that I can answer? Okay. Thank you.
On Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us, and a quick reminder that you can see this program Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. or wait until it repeats at noon a.m., p.m., at noon midday, and then again at 5:30 p.m. at 17:30 in dog years. And we would appreciate very much your listening and watching here on Wayne Goldsboro Television.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
All right, well, let's see what's going on here. A couple of things going on around the area. Aha, look at that.
Ooh. Ooh. A new website for the Paramount Theater.
Yeah, and see, it's so new, they don't even have it filled in yet. Yeah, wow, it's a blank space.
If you've not gone online and checked out the Paramount Theater, they do a wonderful job of showing what's coming up in the coming year and features. And you still got time to get tickets for It's a Wonderful Life. That's going to be held on December 22nd. We talked about it the other week on the show.
Yeah.
You may have seen it. It may be one of your favorite movies. Maybe you've never seen it. You will have the experience that movie deserves by watching it in the historic Paramount Theater.
It is. It's just a fantastic program.
It is.
A fantastic movie, and George Bailey is the main character,
Yes.
played by Jimmy Stewart. And it's got a cast of hundreds in it, and many of them you'll recognize, like Ward Bond, who went on to star on Wagon Train and so many other other TV and movies. Ward Bond, one of the greats of all time, he was in it. Frank Phelan, who went on to become Dobie Gillis's father. Okay, he played, I believe, a cab driver. Or no, anyway, I've got them all mixed. Maybe the post mailman. But anyway, and Donna Reed, of course, the starring female part there, and there's many others as well in that movie. It's just an amazing movie that's stood the test of time.
It has, and so you've still got time to do that. Downtown, there are still opportunities to meet Jolly Jingle and take a selfie with an Elfie. And you can find more information online with that. That's running through December 23rd. Oh, no. This Wednesday, the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce will be at Lane Tree for the annual Education Hot Topic. We do 4 quarterly Hot Topics, and education is certainly one of those.
It is.
And I'll tell you, we are bringing it to a local level of how it's affecting Wayne County. So in the past, we've had state representatives come and speak on education in the public sector and private sector, which is great. But we wanted to bring it back to Wayne County. And you're going to hear from, drum roll please, Dr. Kay Albertson, Wayne Community College president, Dr. Michael Dunsmore, superintendent, Wayne County Public Schools, and Dr. Philip Kerstetter, president of the University of Mount Olive. We're pulling in these 3 leaders in our community. They're going to talk about how the state budget has affected them, what's on the horizon, what the future looks like for Wayne County with these institutions, some changes that have been made, and movement, and all this great stuff, what this A through F grading really means for public schools. What are some issues that are affecting Wayne County that may or may prevent people from being here or moving here, recruiting teachers, retaining teachers. We're going to talk about all this stuff, and the root of all of this, we're going to show and talk about the collaborations that are happening in Wayne County.
Wow.
Unless you've got a child in Wayne County Public Schools, or you are at University of Mount Olive or Wayne Community College, you're probably not going to know what's going on. You might hear a press release, you might hear them out in the community speaking, but it's going to be most insightful. There's still time to register. Just call the chamber today. It's going to be Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. at Lane Tree. We'll get you out by 9:30.
Wow.
Easy breezy. Come see what's going on in your community.
That's the 16th, right?
Yes, that's the 16th.
Okay, 16th. December 16th. Okay.
It's going to be awesome.
At Lane Tree. Starts at 8
Lane Tree,
o'clock.
8 o'clock.
All right.
It is.
Wow. That's fantastic.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's
all
going to
right.
be awesome.
There you go. So we want to see you
lots
there.
of exciting stuff going on.
Oh boy, and
boy.
that's just about going to wrap it up for us for
Yeah.
today. It's another day. Monday is now in the can, or soon will be in the can, so will I. Anyway, let's go on now to the end of the program, and we'll want to invite you to come back and join us again tomorrow. Tomorrow being Tuesday, of course, at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, at noon, and then again at 5:30 p.m. We thank you very much for being with us. So until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.